Hello, I'm Larry Herrera, proud member of the Washington Elementary School District's Governing Board. I'm welcoming you, friends, family, faculty, graduates. I'm very pleased to have been invited here today to speak on what I know is a very special day. It's special for the graduates, for their proud parents, grandparents, and their very relieved teachers. Graduates, you all have accomplished one of the early major milestones of your lives, 8th grade graduation. This is a major step in the journey of your lives, one that should be recognized for its immense significance. It is an act not only of personal commitment, but also one of pride. Today is one of those great occasions when we get to celebrate our young people, their achievements, their perseverance, their successes as they grow up. You should know that your mom and dads are very proud of you. They have high hopes for you, and they believe in you, and you are making them proud by showing them what you can do. Today is an important day for you, and it is for them. Today, they are very, very proud of you. Today would also be a good day to ask them for money. Today would also be a good day to hug them and thank them for supporting you, because as much as this is your achievement, this is also the achievement of the people who care about you. This means your mom, your dad, your stepdad, your grandparents, your sisters and brothers, and all the other people who care about you. They want you to be your best and to live up to your potential. But graduation is not an end to itself. It is instead a part of the larger journey in life. Wherever your future takes you, let it take you somewhere. Life is a journey, and all accomplishments you achieve during this course will guide you for future achievements. You had some great times this year, and maybe you had some tough times, but you did it and you succeeded. You're ready for that next step. I ask you to take this chance today and dedicate yourself to making the next year even better. Remember that you didn't have to follow the crowd. Do the right thing, even when no one is looking. Study hard, and remember that investing in yourself in every test and every book you read is going to be an investment in yourself. And finally, don't be too rushed to grow up. There are some great times in your life. Don't hurry past them. There are some great things coming, and just as your parents are proud, each one of you should feel proud of yourselves. So congratulations to all the graduates, congratulations to the parents, and finally, congratulations to the teachers and everyone else who helped you achieve here today. I'll leave you with this final quote from a great author whom I'm sure you're familiar with, by the name of Dr. Seuss. You have brains in your head, you have feet in your shoes, you can steer yourself in any direction you choose. You're on your own, and you know what you know what you know. You are the one who'll decide where to go. Congratulations to the class of 2021.
Good morning, parents, grandparents, extended family members, special guests, and Arroyo students and staff. This has been a challenging year to say the least, but I am super thrilled that we are able to sit here and celebrate each one of our 8th grade promoting students. To those of you who are parents, grandparents watching, we miss you. We wish that you were here, and we hope that this recording that you get to watch with your 8th grade children will be something that will be encouraging to you as your 8th grade student moves on to high school. Welcome to the Arroyo's promotion ceremony for our 2020-2021 8th grade class. I am proud to be a Lobo and proud to be your principal. We have special guests that will be singing our national anthem. Our very own Olivia Seacrest Farrell, Sophia Somoza, Abigail Upton, Savannah Seacrest. Please stand and join our class in singing the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose by stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight for the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does the star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free I bow now?
Thank you very much. I'm supposed to say you may now be seated, but you have been, so thanks for doing that. One of the things that I'm super excited about is that when we built this multi-purpose room, we built it with the intent of being able to perform first, to play second, and to eat third. We've had plenty of eating in this multi-purpose room, but we haven't had very much performing at all. In fact, that was the very first vocal performance in our new multi-purpose room. So, ow, it's quiet. All right. Secondly, we're super excited about being able to perform instrumental music. One of the things that we've spent years talking about, Mr. Ogden, Mrs. Sullivan, when we designed this building, was we designed it to be able to perform instrumental music. And I am so thrilled that we get an opportunity for our band and orchestra to perform. It is their very first performance in the new building. It's been over a year since you've performed, and we're super excited to have our band and orchestra play for us, led by our very own Mrs. Sullivan. It's amazing all of the new things that we've learned over the last year. Little did I know that this little piece of equipment here would be so important. But this is the microphone for our announcement system. So this is the way that your moms, dads, grandparents, special guests can hear what's going on when you watch it live, or I'm sorry, on recording here in the next couple of days. It is my pleasure to introduce our very first student speaker. And I am super excited that I get to introduce her. It's Liliana Pissarro. So Liliana, if you want to make your way up to the podium. Oh, there you are. Come on over, Liliana. Let me say a few things about Liliana just so that you know how much I appreciate you. I know that Liliana started online, correct? And even when we were back in person, I remember seeing the list of students that were online, and I'm hoping that some of them were able to switch over to in-person learning. I understand completely how online can be difficult, but important as well to keep everyone safe. So when Liliana called me and asked if she could come in person, obviously I was thrilled to have her. So without further ado, Liliana, lead us off, slow down, take your time. This is your moment to shine. Let's give it up for Liliana.
Good morning, fellow Lobos and staff members. I hope everyone is having a great day so far, and for all the 8th graders, are you ready to officially become freshmen in high school? My name is Liliana Pissarro, or as most of you know me as Lily. I was born and raised right here in Arizona, and I love it here, other than the heat. Being here at Arroyo has been, well, an experience. I don't mean it in a bad way, but I mean it in a way that I'll never forget. We've all had some great memories within our time here. Some of us have been here since kindergarten, some of us have been here since the beginning of our middle school years, like me, and other of us have just joined us here today. Today, I'm here to talk about promotion. It's crazy to think that we're all at this point, right? I would have never thought me, who has the actual mentality of a 5-year-old, would be standing here today talking about how we're all going to high school in just a few short months. To start this speech off, I've had many learning experiences here at Arroyo, but I won't be talking about the times we sit here in class and learn about things like the Pythagorean theorem, or even if it wasn't in class and we try to figure out who Joe was. I learned a special little thing called wisdom. Being here has taught me a lot about wisdom. I know it sounds corny, but I've learned a lot just from being here, like how to help people no matter the situation and how to be a successful student overall. I also learned how to make unbreakable bonds with the people whom are closest to me, like my friends and even teachers. I might have not gotten along with everyone in particular throughout the years, but I still have those good memories that I cherish with all those people. I also learned that not everything could go into chaos and magically end up going back to normal. That's exactly what happened during COVID. I'm sure I'm not the only one who thought that as well, but sadly it happened. During quarantine, I learned how to be more patient. It was a tough year for everyone, but we all had to just wait it out and just think about all the things that are going to go well. I learned that not everything could be fixed with a snap of a finger, so waiting and being patient was the only thing that I could do. I also learned how much more annoying siblings could be while you're locked inside your house for almost a year and a half. But spending time with them is one of the best things that could happen during COVID. Quality time with the people that are closest to you is something of a relief during a time like now. When many of you go home today, it would mean a lot if you thought about good ways to spend time with your family, whether it be your siblings or your parents or even friends, to get through this year and make many more memories for the long run. I remember the first grade skate field trip. I will never forget the number of times that I fell but then got back up again and again. But I was determined to learn how to skate, and at the end of the day, I ended up with two bruised knees, blisters on my ankles, and a whole lot of confidence. I'm confident that I'm a terrible skater, but life is like that. We all get bumps and bruises from falling, but we all get up and keep on going. We're persistent in reaching our goals in life, and we don't give up. Lobos don't give up. On to our future as freshmen. It's a little nerve-wracking thinking about high school, but I'm sure all of us will get through it. I plan to make sure I stay friends with everyone that I am currently close to right now, since these bonds with one another shouldn't be tampered with if you care and think that these people are your kind of people. I wonder, how will everything look in high school during COVID? That's to be decided once we enter. But what will you do to ensure that high school will be the best for you? I want all of the 8th graders to think about that, since I will most definitely try my best to maintain friendships and put all the hard work all of our teachers put in for us to work. High school, all in all, sounds scary, but I'm sure all of us will be just as successful as we are now in middle school. Now think about it. What is something that you could do to end this year on the best note? Maybe take pictures with your friends so you have a great memory of your last year in middle school, or even talk to them for a couple minutes before we leave. That's something you might want to think about. But for now, enjoy these last moments at this amazing school before we all officially say goodbye. Last but not least, Vince Lombardi said, "It's not whether you get knocked down, it's whether you get up." This just explains that even though life might throw some curveballs at you, you can always overcome them no matter what. Look back at the great times we had here. Now is everyone's cue to start tearing up, or if you already are, just keep on going. I would like to say thank you to the middle school teachers, Mrs. Witt, Mrs. Meese, Mrs. Schneebelt, Mrs. Wojo, Mrs. Robertson, Ms. Brady, for teaching me the important things, either being schoolwork or just on how to be a better person. The staff for welcoming me in 6th grade and helping me throughout these years, and all my friends and my family, my mom, my dad, my sisters, and my brother, for giving me some of the best 3 years of my life and helping me and comforting me throughout these years. Thank you again, and go class of 2021.
Good morning. Now we're going to be giving out the PBIS awards for responsibility, being respectful, and being safe. The first one, for being responsible, goes to a student who has demonstrated responsible behavior all throughout the school year, both online and in person. She meets her deadlines with all assignments, often working after school hours or over the weekend. She goes beyond expectations in her final projects for assignments, making sure she demonstrates all that she has learned. Grishma Basnet. For being respectful, this student shows respect to each day to all of her teachers and fellow classmates by being present, ready, and eager to learn, helping out without being asked, all with a huge infectious smile that absolutely brightens our days. Liliana Persero. And the award for being safe goes to a student who goes above and beyond to be safe. This includes properly wearing her mask, keeping her distance from others, and essentially bathing in soap and hand sanitizer throughout the day. Tiffany Masese.
Next, we have special area awards. Mr. Ogden, are you going to give those out? Or? Oh, I'm sorry. We forgot. Brian. I get to introduce Brian Guerrero Diaz. Brian Guerrero Diaz, come on up. I'm just going to say just a couple of things about you. Where are you? Here you are. It's weird to have so many different places to come from. Brian Guerrero Diaz, have you been here since kindergarten? Second grade. Brian Guerrero Diaz is one of many in the Guerrero Diaz family, and I'm super excited to hear what you have to share with us. Brian, give the word.
Good morning, Arroyo Lobos. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Brian Guerrero Diaz. I'm in 8th grade, obviously, and I've been at Arroyo for about 7 years. I came to Arroyo at the beginning of 2nd grade. It's crazy to think time flew by that fast. I would like to thank Mr. Lyles and all the other staff that made it possible for my 8th grade class and I to have a special ceremony for promotion to high school. To start off with, I would like to talk about what I've learned from my years at Arroyo. Whether it is academics or real-life problems, I've learned so much during these past years. Before the pandemic happened, I didn't want to go to school and thought online school would be easier than in person. But then we had to do online school, and that was when I had a sort of downfall. I learned that it was really hard because I couldn't communicate or interact with people as well, especially friends, and I would get distracted very easily. Sorry in advance to my teachers, but I would even sleep during some classes. More importantly, I learned about being respectful, responsible, and being safe thanks to our PBIS messages that Mr. Lyles and our teachers talked about. I also learned tons of academics. I learned the basics in my younger grades, but then my middle school teachers helped me learn further into the basics. For example, Mrs. Robertson taught me how to solve linear equations, Pythagorean theorem, translations and reflections, graphing, and many more academics from math. And this was just in 8th grade. Mrs. Schneebout taught me how to properly cite, Miss Wojo taught me about Newton's laws of motions, and we even learned about money, taxes, and the government in Miss Brady's civics class. Just now we were doing stocks. Although I had a ton of work, I am thankful to my teachers for teaching me and having an impact on my education. Moreover, this school holds a bunch of memories that I've made throughout my time at Arroyo. The field trips we've been to are some of the greatest memories at this school. Sadly, this year, we couldn't go to Disneyland because of the pandemic. But we did get to go to Catalina, where I had so much fun and got to share bunk beds with my friends. The Science Center in 3rd grade and the zoo in 5th grade, and even the end of the quarter Lobo car trips are all fun and meaningful memories from Arroyo, even if they were only a couple of days. I even got to be vice principal in 4th grade. However, all of these memories have something in common. They are all from the old school. It held all of my fond memories, like science in 7th grade with Mrs. Witt. So, my favorite memory would have to be the old school, where I grew up and got to make a lot of friends, and some who are now my closest friends. I want to thank the people who helped me create these memories, staff, teachers, and classmates. Promoting is only one of the many chapters in my life. There is so much to come in the future. The next step is high school and learning so much more. I hope to make new friends and maintain the ones from my time here. To the people going to a different high school, good luck being a freshman. Try your hardest, and I hope to stay in touch with you. On a side note, the pandemic's rates have slowly decreased, but who knows what will happen next year. I hope that I just get to have a normal freshman experience. Goals are a big part in someone's lives, especially if you achieve them. Although I am barely going to be a freshman, I always need to have a plan in mind. And I plan to try my absolute hardest and make my parents and family proud. Walking across the stage is one of my biggest goals, and I have already accomplished one of the first steps. Who knows what will await in the future for me? I'll just have to experience it for myself. In the end, I would like to show my appreciation towards everyone who made me feel welcome since I arrived at Arroyo. Mrs. Mason, Miss Wang, Mrs. Sullivan, Mrs. Baker, Mrs. Mitchell, Miss McFarland, Mrs. Witt, Miss Brady, Mrs. Schneebout, Mrs. Robertson, Miss Meese, Mrs. Wojo, Coach Johnson, Mr. Ogden, Mr. Corrales, Coach Horton, Miss Fitz. Thank you all for having an impact on my education, even as some are no longer at Arroyo, as well as our teachers, cross guards, and our wonderful lunch and front office ladies. We can't forget about Mr. Lyles, my favorite principal, and last but definitely not least, my friends and family. Thank you all for helping me in school and create these memories. I will miss my teachers and hope to be able to visit once in a while. I am going to end this speech with a quote from Nelson Mandela. Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. I chose this quote because I believe anyone can have a positive impact on the world, and the way to do that is by education. This speech is titled, Once a Lobo, Always a Lobo. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm here to present a couple awards for outstanding students in band and orchestra. Some of these students I have known since kindergarten, and growing up through the years, they have proven to be amazing, hardworking, talented individuals, and I'm so proud of you guys. Starting with band, our outstanding student awards go to Melena Bryan and Tiffany Masette. And then for orchestra, our outstanding student awards go to Shannon Wright and Denise Aguirre.
Howdy, everybody. So I actually have some for art. I'm Mr. Corrales. I'm the art/journalism teacher. Nice to see you all. So I do have some for art, so I'm going to start off with that. I'm just going to list off the names. These are some students that, while everyone is amazing at art here, these students especially are ones who either have grown a lot or who just have a natural talent that are just amazing. So the first one is PBIS. And then I also have Ariana Miller. Next up, I have Emily Ramirez. Next up, I have Eliana Romero. And last but certainly not least for art, I have Arissa Spencer. I'm also going to be giving the PE award on behalf of Coach Horton. And if I know anything about this student, it's definitely well deserved. It is Jason Lillywhite Manusian. And finally, I have a couple of students from my journalism class who have just gone above and beyond either with their articles or their art and just really have done an amazing job of making our little newspaper something really special. So my first one is Savannah Seacrest Farrell. Next up I have Lily Pissarro. Next up I got Jordan Cree. Next up I have Grishma Besnet. And last up, the one and only Alize Delgado. Thank you very much. I'll give you to Mr. Ogden.
Okay, hello. I'm Mr. Ogden. I am the music teacher here. So I have a couple of awards for excellence. I'm going to start with Excellence in Theater, which is a new course that we did this year, which has been a lot of fun. So my first Theater Excellence Award goes to Olivia Seacrest Farrell. My second Theater Excellence Award goes to Abby Upton. My third one goes to Greg Otto. And my fourth one is going to Matthew Dodge. And then I also have some excellence in choral singing. So my first choral award goes to Olivia Seacrest Farrell. My second one goes to Abby Upton. My third one goes to Sophia Somoza. And my fourth one goes to Savannah Seacrest Farrell. You'll notice they also performed the Star Spangled Banner today. And then we had one final award that we gave out. This one was from all three, myself, Mr. Horton, and Mr. Corrales. And this is for excellence in art, music, and PE. This is a student who has dedicated themselves to all of these crafts with a lot of perseverance, even through the madness that was this entire school year. And this one goes to Matthew Dodge. Our next speaker is going to be someone who was new to Arroyo this year, that spent part of her year, or actually most of her year, online, and that's a really difficult way to come to a new school, but she has absolutely made a huge impact here, and I'm proud to introduce Sage Martin.
Hello? Okay. Whew. Good morning, everyone. As a matter of fact, great morning. I'm having a great morning, and I hope you are too. Wow, what a year, guys. Hi, I'm Sage Martin. I know a lot of you may not know me. Well, pretty much almost all of you. This was my first and sadly only year here at Arroyo. It's been one like no other, and I haven't even met you in person. Growing up, I've always been on the move, jumping from town to town, place to place. My father's in the Air Force, so that's really why I'm always moving and jumping. I've lost count of how many schools I've been to, but this has been by far my favorite, and this is only my second time stepping foot into it. Today, I'm glad to say we are here to celebrate the 8th graders moving on up a level and becoming high schoolers. Entering middle school in 6th grade, I had to move with my grandma. Just me, no dad, no mom. I usually had one or the other at the time, but not this time. I went from this very privileged school to a 3-star rating school in Calumet City, Illinois. In 6th grade, I got involved with the wrong crowd, had gotten my first in-school suspension, my first F. I saw myself turning into those girls that I thought were my friends. I was trying so hard to fit in that I lost myself. So I had to flip my script, detach, and get myself together. As a result, I finished that year with all A's, and I was Student of the Month. In 7th grade, guess what? Another school. In 7th grade, I moved to live with my dad in Shreveport, Louisiana. I love that school, but there are a lot of things I did not like. One of the things I hated was the grading system. So at the school, a 92 was a B. Yeah, the audacity. And another thing I struggled with were the teachers. They were very strict and unsupportive. Just as I was getting used to them, boom, COVID. Time flew like crazy. Next thing, I'm packing up to move again. This year, I moved here to live with my mother and attend Arroyo. Well, online Arroyo. I usually have trouble with a lot of my classes like science, reading, and writing, but here at Arroyo, I found myself succeeding in those classes. I received so much help and so much support from all my teachers. I didn't usually get that from my former schools. With almost moving, one of the things I've learned is to quickly adapt. I learned that with a lot of other lessons, like you have to go with your gut, have to walk your own path. Not everyone's going to be there for you. You have to be cautious of who you let in your life and who you let have access to you. Going into high school, I can't wait to make many more memories. Can't wait to learn many more lessons. Going into high school, I hope to actually go to school in person. I hope to maintain my friendships with my current friends I met in 7th grade. I sadly can't go to high school with them, but that's okay because I'll make new friends. I would like to thank all my teachers for being there for me, and thank you, Mr. Lyles, for inviting me into your school. I will take my lessons and experiences with me to high school. But there's one thing that I will always remember that Drake once said, life can always change, you just have to adjust. I hope you all remember that you should adjust when life throws you challenges. Lastly, I would like to congratulate everyone in the 8th grade class on their promotion to 9th grade.
All right, next up we have some content awards. I'm going to start with reading. The following students have demonstrated perseverance online and in person. They participated consistently throughout the year and showed tremendous growth as a reader. My awards are going to Greg Otto, Sage Martin, and Adam Pena.
couple awards to give. So my awards are going to those who showed prowess in social studies, who showed a lot of understanding in the area of history with great emphasis on your projects. Anthony Dugan, Emily Rico, and Arroyo Corona. I also have one more award to give. This person chose to go on an adventure with me last spring. We started our adventure in the Summit Citadel and ended it as the mother of 4 dragons. The adventuring award goes to Melina Bryan.
All right, I'll be presenting the awards for science. And all of these students not only made it through online learning, and science is very difficult because science is a hands-on subject. Not only did they make it through online learning, but they did it with a smile. They did it with joy, and they brighten my day every day. For the first one, I have Hannah Gomez. And Haley Kuhn. And my last one is actually for most improvements throughout the entire year. This person has made such an incredible change from last year to the end of this year. I felt that he needed to be recognized. Eric Perez Ramos, come on up.
Hello, I have a few awards for STEM. The following students have shown great interest in thinking outside the box in STEM class, so I would like to award Colin Lucas and Kira Crow.
All right, I have some awards to be given. First in writing. Writing this year online was very difficult for all of us, and it was something that we had to work at a lot. And we wrote many essays this year, and I've seen some great improvement in all of you in your writing as it's shown in our speeches today, and I'm very proud of all of you. I would like to recognize 2 students, though, for their outstanding effort and improvement in writing this year, Abby Epstein and Olivia Seacrest Farrell. I also had the privilege of teaching math with you this year online, and that was quite an experience, and you worked extremely hard, and I think you're ready for high school. There's been a couple students this year that really brightened teaching math for me this year through their positive attitude, their growth mindset, and their participation on a variety of days this year, both online and in person. And I'd like to recognize those 3 students with much appreciation for making math this year fun. Matthew Dodge, Leland Sellers, and Haley Case. Thank you. All right, and next I'd like to introduce Grishma Basnet for our next speech.
Hello everybody, good morning. You all look very nice today. I'm glad you could all join us for this year's 8th grade promotion. My name is Grishma, and I was born in a small country in South Asia called Nepal, which I am very proud of. I'm proud to be Nepalese and embrace my culture and heritage. My family and I came to America in 2008 when I was a little over a year old, and I have been at Arroyo since kindergarten. during the 2012-2013 school year. Since then, I've made lots of great friends and met a lot of amazing teachers and staff over the years at Arroyo. Every year, I've learned from the people around me and grew as a person. If I hadn't experienced everything I have been through since coming to Arroyo, I wouldn't be the person I was standing here today. And today, I'm promoting. So with that being said, we're here today to celebrate Arroyo's promoting class of 2021. A round of applause to all our beautiful 8th graders. We made it. This year wasn't really how I pictured my last year at Arroyo to be like, and I know many others would agree. Last year here or not, transitioning from online to in-person and back isn't really ideal for anyone. It feels just like yesterday I was listening to an audiobook in my Google Classmeet about a man hidden under the listening to Edgar Allan Poe. I'm not going to ruin it for our 7th graders now, but there are some really good books you'll be reading with Mrs. Schneebelt, including more of Lois Lowry. She is taught with these books back and back and back. I'm sure you'll love her 8th grade reading class. I've learned how to write proper argumentative essays and just finished the stock market assignment no more than a week ago. It wasn't the most relaxing long-term assignment, but it sure was fun. Big thanks to Mrs. Robertson. Because of her, I will never forget the term y equals mx plus b. This year has also taught me not to lose myself trying to fix friendships that just aren't worth it. Some bonds will break and others will grow. It helps with character development. Looking back, we all might have made fun of Mr. Lyles, who'd always say, Arroyo is family. But past all our conflicts and drama, we are. Once a Lobo, always a Lobo. And I'm sorry to those who never got to go to Catalina and experience its beauty, but I did. So with that being said, let me tell you all about my experience. I was very thankful at the fact that we drove to California later in the day. I'm not a morning person, never will be. And we had traveled by bus. And the buses, they were so cool and modern, 10 out of 10. I really enjoyed watching movies on the little screens above us. After the drive from AZ to Cali, we had to sit through a 3-hour boat ride. That did a number on me, and so many others were having bad seasickness too. My friends and I had gone inside to sleep. No more than 2 hours had passed. I woke up and the first thing I saw were 3 other groups sitting next to and across from us, passed out. Now I'm not going to take up all your time talking about Catalina Island, so in short words, the food was great. We met a bison named Mike who raided the boys' cabins, went nice snorkeling, and of course, 2 of my friends and I got in a little crying session in our small cabin. On top of that, I'm really thankful that I got to be a part of Mr. Ogden's amazing elementary and middle school choir program. I'll never forget his end of the year parties or his decorative socks. Each and every teacher here never fails to find a way to make learning more enjoyable. You guys are amazing. Though all of these are very fond memories of mine, I don't think it'll ever top celebrating Dasai, Diwali, Baitika, or even just birthdays with my family and my mama's food. Looking ahead, in just a few months, we'll be freshmen. We'll be back to being the youngest grade level. It'll be weird, even scary at first, but I know we'll pull through. We're just awesome like that. Goals I have moving forward to high school are to become more social, make lots of friends, and join a few clubs. Though most of us won't be going to the same high school, we'll always have this one attribute that'll keep all of us connected. We are Arroyo Lobos, and once a Lobo, always a Lobo. Moving forward, I hope we'll take everything we have learned from our teachers and peers around us at Arroyo to make the best of high school. Last but not least, I would like to say thank you to all the people who contributed to our successes. Thank you to all the teachers who have helped us through this weird school year, for working with and alongside us. Thank you for not giving up on us. I would have given up on us. I'd like to especially thank Mr. C for being so understanding and always encouraging us to do better. Whether it's related to art or even the main subjects, he goes above and beyond in trying to help his students in whatever way he can. Thank you. And thank you to all our staff and custodians for not letting us completely trash the school and for always being there. Whether it's checking up on us, making us laugh, or even telling us the wildest stories. Thank you. And with all my heart, I'd like to thank my parents for always taking care of me and loving me. Thank you. To my fellow promoting peers, no, I haven't forgotten about you guys. In fact, this cheesy quote is for all of you. I don't mind if you plug your ears, but as the great and influential Dr. Seuss once wrote, you're off to great places. Today is your day. Your mountain is waiting, so get on your way. Congratulations, Arroyo's promoting class of 2021. Good morning. I am here to present the President's Award with Mr. Lyles. The President's Award is a special award for 8th graders who have earned straight A's all through their 7th and 8th grade years. In addition to A's, they have excellent behavior, good character, and just amazing traits. We have a tablecloth back here that is the tradition for Arroyo to sign it for these President's Award students. We have 4 students in 8th grade. Owen Reynoso, please come up. Emily Rico. And the following 2 students not only have straight A's 7th and 8th grade, but actually since at least 4th grade, and that is Hamid and Tiffany. Congratulations to you 4 students, and congratulations to all of you promoting today.
All right, so our next speaker is going to be Tiffany Masese.
At long last, today is the day we're all looking forward to, the 8th grade promotion ceremony. I'd like to welcome and thank everyone for giving us this great opportunity. My name is Tiffany Masese, and I've been a student here at Arroyo for 6 years. When I was 8 years old, I came to the school a year and a half after I immigrated with my family from Kenya. It's been an amazing journey watching everyone, including myself, grow and change. These 6 years have been some of the most challenging and enjoyable times of my life. Being here at Arroyo has created some of the best times I could ever hope for, and it's thanks to everyone here. Enough about me though. Today we're here for all of us. Although Arroyo is filled with a multitude of people worth celebrating, today we're here for the 8th graders. We're here to celebrate our hard work and all the effort we have put forward to bolster our education. In the past, when I look back on what I've learned here in the past few years, I thought, is all this stuff really going to be necessary into my life? Although I say this, what I've learned has proven its worth time and time again. Arroyo has set us all for a great example for our academics, the time we will spend growing into functioning members of society. We've learned everything from writing a 5-paragraph essay to Newton's 3 laws of motion. Although there have been countless sleepless and stressful nights where I wished I could have just given it all up, as I'm sure most of you can relate, I'm thankful that I didn't, and I toughed out every situation that was thrown my way. Thanks to the curriculum and the many amazing and understanding teachers we have grown into the knowledgeable people we are today. As well as teaching us information about various subjects and information we'll need later in life, this school has allowed us to explore our more creative and athletic sides by offering special area classes. Learning how to play the guitar with Mr. Ogden in the past, getting in our daily exercise with Coach Johnson and Mr. Horton, and making amazing art projects with Mr. Corrales have all been a major part of our development. In addition to teaching us how to solve math problems and letting us be creative, Arroyo has taught us how to become great people to those around us and ourselves. With PBIS being put into play, being safe, responsible, and respectful has been drilled into our heads this entire year, over and over. I think the most important but least practice one out of all three is being responsible. Being responsible means more than just turning in your work on time. It means to take accountability for your actions and deal with the consequences in a mature way. It means to treat others the way you want to be treated. I know, it sounds kind of corny, but it's true. Who will show you respect when you have no respect for others and can't take responsibility for what you say or do? To end that serious note, let's talk about memories. Some of my fondest memories at this school have been from field trips. Field trips are a time we all look forward to. They allow us to relax our usually rigid schedule and be with both friends and teachers outside of school. One of my favorite field trips was when we went to the Science Center in 3rd grade. While there, we got to learn about anything we wanted and explore the center with our friends and a chaperone of our choosing. I remember seeing a room where we could interact with water and see the many amazing things it could do. Of course, when you have 50 3rd graders who have no sense of self-control with you and are surrounded by water, you will without a doubt get splashed. I recall being told again and again not to play with the water, but to nobody's surprise, we didn't listen. We ended the day by boarding the bus and freezing like icicles on the way to school due to being soaked in cold water. Of course, how could I talk about field trips without mentioning Catalina Island at least once? Although I could go on and on about the amazing time we had while there, I would like to talk about my favorite memory. I was with Miss Schnabel and a couple of other students, and we had all decided to play human foosball. Miss Schnabel and I were placed on opposite teams, so I had to kick the ball into the goal on her side of the playing area. I tried kicking the ball into the goal and missed many times, but she just wouldn't move out of the way. She still blames me for all the bruises she had after the game, but I say it's her fault for not moving out of my way. Who do you think is right? Okay. Although I love field trips, the best times in my years at Arroyo, without a shadow of a doubt, have been from after school. I initially only joined the after-school robotics program because my friend was joining. I regretted it at first, but I soon learned I loved to work with robots. Being in the program allowed me to spend my Saturdays away from home with my teammates and friends. From throwing oranges at each other in the car to our robot destroying itself in the middle of a round, I would never trade those memories for the world. Even though the robots could sometimes be a pain, I will never forget the amazing and fun times they gave me. Even if our time here at Arroyo has come to an end, we can all look forward to the future. It's crazy to think that we'll be high schoolers in only a few months. These next 4 years of high school will be some of the best and toughest of our lives. It will be a new and exciting experience and environment. Going to high school will allow us to make new friends and maintain the friendships you gained here. I know many of you are nervous about what's to come, and so am I, but what use is it to worry about something that hasn't happened yet? With the future comes growing up both physically and mentally. As Capil Turtlewall once said, the choices we make today create the future that we are dreaming of, so keep being the amazing people that you all are and make every day count. When I think back on my time at Arroyo, I am reminded again and again about all I've learned and the good times I've spent, and it's thanks to all of you. Thank you to the cafeteria workers and custodians for keeping us both fed and our school clean. Thank you to the office staff for keeping our school running like a well-oiled machine, and thank you to my classmates for making my days exciting. And the biggest thank yous of all goes to the teachers for teaching us all you can, giving us advice when we need it, and being there for us. I will end with a quote from the Dalai Lama. Despite difficulties, always keep optimism. Say to yourself, I can overcome these difficulties. That mental attitude itself will bring inner strength and confidence. Thank you.
Wow, I feel like we could just be done, but there's a little bit more to give out. Plus, I think there's some promotion certificates that people might want to have. So I get the honor of presenting some excellent attendance awards as well as perfect attendance awards. In Arroyo tradition, we like to recognize students that have had perfect attendance, and this year of any year probably is the most difficult. We took a look at students that came to school when we were in person, as well as students that showed up online. That was particularly hard because you never know. Sometimes you see that little circle with the letter, and you're not really sure if anybody's there or not, but we think we got it pretty close. So first of all, I want to honor a student who had perfect attendance but showed up late a little bit, which is approaching perfection, and that is Gregory Otto. Come on up, Gregory Otto. Thanks for having excellent attendance. These three students have had perfect attendance throughout the year according to our records. And I just want to say congratulations. Thank you for being a model of excellence in. There you go, Brett. Thank you for being a model of excellence in all that you do. There are very few adults on this campus who have had perfect attendance, and so you beat us. First of all, Melena Bryan in Arroyo fashion, the big giant candy bar. You don't have to share it with anybody unless you'd like to. Secondly, we have, and I'm going to try to say it right because I've known her for a long time, but it's Tiffany Masese. Was I right? Darn it. I don't have that much opportunity left to try to get it right. And last but not least, Hamid Shururu. I am going to make just a little bit of a connection for you, just in case you haven't seen it yourself, that 2 of our Perfect Attendance Award winners were also our President's Award winners, not only in 8th grade, but also in 6th grade. I wonder if there's a connection between coming to school every day and academic success, something maybe you can study over the summer. We like to give out our PAWS Award. We actually have 2 PAWS Award winners in our midst. The first one goes to an 8th grader, and this 8th grader was selected by her teachers. It says, one of the qualities that we appreciate about this student is her positive attitude. She puts in great effort towards her assignments, never failing to ask questions about something she is unsure of. This student consistently asks for feedback on assignments so that they not only meet, but exceed expectations. She remains focused and perseveres during her classes, whether online or in person. Her positive attitude and growth mindset is a huge contribution to her successful completion of 8th grade. She exemplifies the expectations of being respectful, being responsible, and being safe. She has a bright future ahead of her, and that goes to Haley Kuhn. Come on up. The next PAWS Award winner actually is the overall school PAWS Award winner. Mrs. Hughes and myself get to select one student that we felt was outstanding throughout the year, and it happened to be an 8th grader this year. We went off the grid a little bit in writing this up because we felt like it was super important to hear from one of his former teachers. And so I'm going to read it. It's a little bit lengthy, but this is in honor of the overall school PAWS Award winner. When I taught this current group of 8th graders, it was my 2nd year as a teacher. I remember feeling like I somewhat knew what to expect after experiencing my first year. With this group of students, it was the first year I truly felt like a teacher. That being said, having this group move on to 6th grade was really hard for me. I still miss you all and wish I had you in 5th grade. I say all of this because on the first day of school, when you were in 6th grade, you came to visit me during your recess time. I never asked him to. It was never expected of him. He just did it because he wanted to. He continued to do this every single day until after that COVID thing hit. Others started to come with him, and it formed this middle school group that the 5th graders knew of. They were kind to our 5th graders, would joke around with us and participate in conversation, not only with me, but with my current students. Because of your example, they looked up to him and they wanted to be like him. To this day, each year we have a new set of 6th graders come to visit us. I truly believe that you and the rest of that original group that visit us set such a great example of what it means to show respect and kindness towards one another. You have left a mark on my career as a teacher. By you visiting each day, it showed me that you genuinely cared about your teachers his 5th grade year and continuing that relationship with his past teachers. I will continue to be amazed at your example of respect and kindness towards others, including your classmates, teachers, teammates, and family, even your little brother that he waits to walk home with every day. Not only do you show a great deal of respect, but you have shown so much responsibility as a student athlete. You made sure academics came first before sports. If you know him, you know football and basketball are his favorite things. You understand in order to be an athlete and continue with this, you also had to balance it with school. I was amazed in 5th grade at how you were able to do that at such a young age. As an athlete myself, I remember how difficult that task can be and was so proud of you for having the ability to understand how important school is, even if you're an all-star on the field. You are the epitome of what it means to be an Arroyo Lobo, even if you like Ohio State. Your legacy will continue to live on here as each 5th grade class will look up to the next group of 6th grade students that come to visit us. I have told you since I met you as a student and since I started watching you as an athlete, you are destined for great things. May you never forget all the good that you have done at Arroyo and all the good that you will continue to do in the world. It has been a great honor and privilege having been your teacher. Congratulations. Sincerely, Miss McFarland, Owen Reynoso. I was thrilled when I got the chance to introduce our last student speaker. It wasn't too long ago that sitting in my office, I was with this student and we were talking about giving up. And Anthony, you didn't give up. And I just want you to know that it has been an honor and a thrill to be your principal. It hasn't always been enjoyable. There have been some moments, right? But I am super proud of you. And perseverance is the word that comes to my mind. And I know that you have a team of adults that care so much about you because we've had multiple conversations over the last 2 weeks about how to help you get through. So you get to close us out. Thank you, Anthony, for sticking with it. I'm super proud of you. Anthony Dugan.
All right. Hello, teachers, 8th grade and 7th grade. My name is Anthony Dugan, and I've been here since 1st grade. Us 8th graders are here not only to take one big step in the next part of our life, but also here to share with you our favorite memories. So instead of wasting your time with a long and timely welcoming, I'm going to get right into things. The first thing I would like to talk about are lessons that I have learned. A few things that I've learned are the Pythagorean theorem, evolution, slope, Newton's laws, new vocabulary, and the importance of insight when you're reading. However, these are not the only important lessons that I have learned. Arroyo has taught me many life lessons too. A few life lessons that I have learned are time management, how to properly talk to other people, and most importantly, for me, saying the right things at the right times. When I first came here, I was scared that this school would be like my previous school, but I was definitely wrong. Arroyo had taught me how to make friends. Without Arroyo, I wouldn't have met my best friend Dominic. This now leads me into fond memories. I would like to start in 3rd grade where I first met my tall friend Dominic. Some background context is that we were on break after the AZ Merit test. We were outside on the playground. I watched as Dominic launched himself down the slide, hitting his head on the top part above. At first, I had no idea what happened until he started crying. I watched him get up, go to the teacher, and then the nurse. This small event started a conversation at the beginning of our friend group. More than halfway through my time at Arroyo, in 5th grade, is when our friend group expanded. Now instead of 3 people, we had 8+ people. All of us were excited about going to school dances. I definitely did not have the idea to put some water on the ground and tell one of my friends to go grab something from someone, which caused a chase that ended up with one person falling on the other one. But that's besides the point. What I mean to say is I enjoyed my time at Arroyo, and I have tons more memories, but that would take way too long. Yes, I'm a little scared of high school, but I'm going to put more effort into high school. Most of my friends have already planned to go to the same high school, so that helps with my anxiety. My main worry is COVID. I'm worried that there may be a new spike in COVID cases, and that might prevent some high school time. The thing that is making me most anxious is I have no idea what to expect, but I'm pretty sure things will turn out fine. Thank you to all of my middle school teachers, and thank you Miss Gill and Miss Mason for being amazing teachers and somehow managing me as an energetic little kid. I can't forget Nadine Kuskig for getting me into science and Dominic Parker for sparking an interest with history. All in all, this speech has been fun. Dwight D. Eisenhower once said, accomplishment will prove to be a journey, not a destination.
So before we present the promotion certificates, as teachers come up, Mrs. Hughes, would you join me up on stage so that you can help me pass these out, make sure that I get the right certificate in the right hands? Thank you. Just a couple of things. I want you, as you look ahead, as you look forward, I want you to make eye contact with somebody up on the stage that has meant something special to you this year. I want you to know that just as challenging as it has been for you, I want you to know that it's been equally, if not more challenging for each of the members of the Arroyo staff in a variety of ways. And I want to take just a moment to recognize groups of people. And I'm going to start with our fabulous facilities crew, Casey and Mike. Thank you so much for all of your work this year. Would you guys give them a round of applause, please? I also want to make sure to recognize our front office staff. I know that Ms. Nayeli is covering the office, but we do have Ms. Tina and Ms. Shauna here. Will you give them a round of applause? Thank you so much for all of the work that you've done this year. And then we also have Ms. Cook has been invaluable this year to helping people solve problems. You may not have always agreed with the way that she helped you solve that problem, but she was there for you. There's also Miss Sue. I think she just stepped out, but I want to recognize Miss Cook and Miss Sue, so give them a round of applause, please. Thank you. And then finally, if you'll just do me a favor, make eye contact with that special someone. I know we have Mrs. Miner in the back if you need to make eye contact with her. Miss McFarland is actually here, a 5th grade representative, so make eye contact with her. We have Miss Edmonds. And then I thought I was going to get my middle school teachers to come on up, but make eye contact with them and do whatever it is that you do to show them how much you love and appreciate them. Let's give them one big round of applause. And then we couldn't forget Mrs. Hughes. Some of you have been impacted by Mrs. Hughes since kindergarten. And so let's give Mrs. Hughes a round of applause. Thank you so much, Mrs. Hughes, for all your support. She loves attention. So this is what I say. I say, because these 8th graders have met the promotion requirements, it is my great pleasure to present to you the 2020-21 promoting class at Arroyo. And that means that you guys will stand up and Miss Edmonds will help guide you, and Miss Schnabel is going to read names, and we're going to celebrate you as you get your promotion certificate.
Denise Aguirre. Naba Ahmed. Hussein Al-Zayadi. Ariana Baisley. Lorana Barker. Grishma Basnet, Milena Bryan, Brooklyn Carpio, Haley Case, Christian Castaneda Guzman, Aria Corona, Kira Crow, Alex Cuban, Alize Delgado, Matthew Dodge, Zachary DeShadis, Maria Duarte, Anthony Dugan, Hannah Gomez, Brian Guerrero Diaz, Zachary Gunyon, Ishmael Hernandez, Jordan Cree, Haley Kuhn, Briar Lieberman, Jason Lillywhite Manusian, Colin Lucas, Lai Long, Sage Martin, Tiffany Masese, Anthony McKinnon, Ariana Miller, Miranda Navarro Pachuca, Hayden O'Meara, Gregory Otto, Dominic Parker, Liliana Pissarro, Xavier Pedroza, Jocelyn Pellegrin, Adam Pena, Eric Perez Ramos, Dylan Peterson, Emily Ramirez, Owen Reynoso, Emily Rico, Isabella Rodriguez, Camila Romano Rosas, Eliana Romero, Olivia Seacrest Farrell, Savannah Seacrest Farrell, Leland Sellards, Anthony Serrano Cortez, Hamid Shruru, Mia Silva, True Skeens, Liliana Smith, Sophia Samoza, Arissa Spencer, Brandon Stewart, Jacqueline Terry, Abigail Uptain, Ulysses Uribe, Jaime Valdez, Daniel Ward, Shannon Wright. Congratulations, you guys.
Hopefully everyone's sanitized before shaking hands. So, before I pronounce you freshmen in high school, we have one more outstanding performance to listen to. And it is my honor and privilege to introduce Matthew Dodge. He has been working really hard this year on guitar. And Matthew, I can't wait to hear your rendition of whatever song you're playing. It's going to be fabulous.
Before I play for you guys, I just want to say I'm proud to be playing in front of you guys. You guys are actually my first audience I've ever played in front of before. So I put my time and effort into this, and I hope you guys enjoy.
I'm going to tell you that there were all kinds of things that got us through the pandemic, and I know Matthew appreciates all the support that he got with Guitar Right. Thanks, Matthew. Let's give him one more big round of applause. So at this time, it is my honor and privilege to present to you the high school graduating class of 2025. Let's stand and recognize our promoters.
Hello, my name is Dr. Paul Stanton, the very proud superintendent of the Washington Elementary School District. You know, I've been saying this for 6 years, but this year it seems a little more special. I always start with a disclaimer. You're not going to remember this speech, these words. You're not meant to, because they're my words. Instead, you should remember your words. You did it, you made it, you are moving forward. You are becoming a student of life. Now, before we move on, let's thank everyone that helped us get to this point. Thank you, families, parents, guardians, neighbors, and all those that helped lift our students up. Thank you, staff, teachers, administrators, social workers, bus drivers, cafeteria workers, everybody. You are the miracle workers, the essential human beings. Thank you for loving and caring and molding these students. Students, you are the teachers this year. You are the leaders. This year, and we the adults, well, we're the learners. You have shown us so many traits that we cannot teach you, but only marvel at. You have taught us how to balance your family demands, your school demands, your friend demands, your demands. You taught us that learning is so much more than subjects. Learning is juggling schedules, sharing technology, getting online, mastering meetings, getting frustrated, trying again, laughing, crying, succeeding, and doing it again tomorrow. You showed us that learning is how to watch over your siblings, over your guardians, over your parents, and how to help them through this once-in-a-lifetime pandemic. You contributed, you helped, you persevered, you made it. Remember this moment, as it will serve you well today, tomorrow, in high school, in college, in the military, in life. You see, you can't teach overcoming adversity, overcoming hardship, overcoming fear, but you learn from it. You learn how to deal with it. You learn that it did not define you, and now you can apply it to other situations that will come your way. That is real life learning. To say we're proud, well, that's just an understatement. Our lives are better because of you this year. Whether you're online, in person, hybrid, you touched our hearts and our minds in so many ways. You're not going to remember the speech, these words. You're not meant to, because they're my words. But you need to remember your words. You did it. You made it. You are moving forward. You are students of life. Class of 2021, thank you from the bottom of our hearts for allowing us to learn from and with you.